In a small village nestled in the heart of the Wild West, there lived a widow named Clara. She was known for her kind heart and gentle spirit, but after the passing of her husband, the villagers began to turn away from her. Rumors spread, and whispers followed her wherever she went. Clara had always cherished her quiet life with her faithful companion, a German shepherd named Maximum. Together, they roamed the fields and shared simple joys. But as winter approached, the villagers' disdain grew, and Clara found herself alone and unwanted. One cold morning, they drove her out of the village, claiming she brought bad luck. Heartbroken but undeterred, Clara took Max and ventured into the nearby forest, hoping to find solace. The trees stood tall and ancient, their branches heavy with snow. She wandered deeper until she stumbled upon an abandoned cave, hidden behind a curtain of ivy. Clara's heart swelled with hope as she stepped inside. It was dark at first, but she could see potential in its spacious interior. With Max by her side, she began to clear away the debris, imagining how she could make this cave a home. Using fallen branches and logs from the forest floor, she constructed a sturdy wooden cabin within the cave's warm embrace. As days passed, Clara worked tirelessly to prepare for the harsh winter ahead. She knew that food would be scarce, so she decided to plant green leafy vegetables and potatoes in small patches of soil within the cave's entrance where sunlight filtered through cracks. With determination in her heart and Max wagging his tail beside her, she set out to create a life anew in this hidden sanctuary. As Clara settled into her new cave home, the chill of winter crept closer, reminding her that survival would take more than just a sturdy shelter. She felt a mix of hope and worry as she looked at Max, who remained by her side, his warm presence a comfort against the cold. Each day, she woke with the sun, determined to make this cave a place where they could thrive. Clara started by gathering more materials from the forest. She discovered smooth stones that she could use for a small fireplace to keep them warm during the freezing nights. With Max helping by sniffing out hidden paths and branches, they worked tirelessly together. Clara felt stronger with each task completed and found joy in their teamwork. One morning, as Clara ventured outside to check on her vegetable patches, she noticed fresh tracks in the snow. Her heart raced at the thought of wildlife nearby. "What do you think those are, Max?" she whispered. The dog looked up, ears perked, ready for anything that might come their way. Clara knew they had to be cautious. Days turned into weeks, and as winter deepened around them, Clara learned how to adapt to her new life. She made simple meals from the vegetables she had planted and shared everything with Maximum. The bond between them grew even stronger as they faced each challenge together. With every passing day in the cave, Clara discovered not only her resilience but also a newfound sense of belonging in this wild landscape, a world where she and Max could thrive against all odds. As Clara settled into the rhythm of cave life, she felt the first bite of winter's chill seep into the air. The once vibrant forest grew quiet, as animals sought warmth and shelter. Each day, the frost painted delicate patterns on the cave walls, a reminder that survival would demand her utmost strength and resilience. Clara looked at Max, who seemed to sense the change in their surroundings, his eyes alert and watchful. With each passing day, snowflakes began to fall, blanketing the forest in a thick layer of white. Clara watched from her cave as the world transformed into a winter wonderland, but beneath that beauty lay harsh challenges. Gathering firewood became a daily quest. She trudged through the deepening snow, often sinking to her knees with every step. Max helped by sniffing out twigs and branches hidden beneath the snow. Food was becoming scarce as well. The vegetables Clara had planted needed careful tending, a task made more difficult by the cold. One frigid morning, she discovered that some of her precious greens had been nibbled by hungry critters looking for food. "Oh no! We have to protect our garden, Max," she exclaimed, determination fueling her spirit. Together, they devised a way to shield the plants using fallen branches. As winter deepened and nights grew longer, Clara often sat by their small fire, wrapped in furs as Max rested at her feet. She took comfort in their companionship but also felt moments of solitude creep in like the cold night air. Yet each challenge faced brought new lessons about strength and courage, qualities she would need more than ever to endure this great winter. Though Clara had found refuge in the cave, memories of the village haunted her like a shadow. Not long before she left, whispers echoed through the streets. The villagers who once smiled at her now cast sideways glances filled with suspicion and scorn. It began when her husband fell ill and ultimately passed away, leaving Clara alone. As grief weighed heavily on her heart, rumors started to swirl, words of bad luck and misfortune that seemed to follow her. At first, Clara ignored the talk, believing that time would heal their wounds and restore their trust. But as days turned into weeks, the villagers grew more hostile. "It's her fault," some would say while shaking their heads, while others claimed they felt uneasy whenever she was near. In hushed voices, they spread tales of how she must have brought dark omens upon them. One fateful morning, Clara woke to find messages painted on her door, angry words from neighbors she thought were friends. Her heart sank as she realized their disdain had grown too powerful to bear. They gathered in front of her home, demanding she leave for the sake of the village's safety. With nothing but grief and shock coursing through her veins, Clara knew she had to go. Taking only Max by her side, she fled into the nearby forest, leaving behind everything familiar. As she walked deeper among the trees, the weight of their rejection crushed her spirit, but with every step, a flicker of hope ignited within her. She yearned for a place where she could start anew, away from judgment and whispers. This wilderness would be her sanctuary, and together with Max, she would find a way to survive. As Clara ventured deeper into the forest, the towering trees stood as guardians, their branches intertwined like old friends. Each step she took was filled with uncertainty, but also an unexpected sense of wonder. Max trotted beside her, his tail wagging with excitement at the new smells and sights that surrounded them. They walked for what felt like hours until Clara noticed a peculiar opening in the hillside, partially concealed by ferns and vines. Curiosity lured her closer, and as she stepped forward, a feeling of warmth engulfed her, contrasting sharply with the cold outside. The mouth of the cave was dark but inviting, a hidden sanctuary waiting to be explored. Taking a deep breath, Clara called out, "Max, come here." The dog bounded ahead, sniffing the air with his keen instincts. Inside, the cave opened up into a spacious area, echoing with silence and possibility. Clara marveled at the smooth stone walls and the way the dim light filtered through crevices above. She imagined how she could transform this space into a home, filled with comfort and safety. "This could be our place, Max," she whispered, hope blooming in her heart. With newfound determination, Clara began to explore every nook and cranny of the cave. She envisioned building a wooden cabin inside, a place where warmth and love could flourish again. As she walked through the shadows, she felt a bond growing with the earth around her, a connection that had been severed when she left her village. In that moment, surrounded by the natural beauty of the forest and her faithful companion, Clara realized that this cave was not just an escape, it was the beginning of a new life, one filled with possibilities and dreams of survival against the looming winter. With the cave feeling like a new beginning, Clara rolled up her sleeves and set to work. Every day brought its own set of challenges, but her determination fueled her spirit. She knew that to survive the harsh winter ahead, she needed a sturdy wooden cabin inside the cave, a cozy haven where she and Max could find warmth and safety. Clara began by gathering fallen branches and logs from the forest surrounding their new home. The chill in the air did not deter her, instead, it urged her to move faster. As she chopped and stacked wood, she felt a sense of purpose wash over her. "We will make this place ours, Max," she said, glancing down at her furry companion as he chewed on a stick nearby. Using stones from the cave's interior as a foundation, Clara carefully constructed walls for her cabin. Each log was placed with intention, forming a snug shelter against the biting cold outside. She worked tirelessly, often stopping only to warm her hands by a small fire she had built in one corner of the cave. Days turned into weeks as Clara persevered through the frigid weather. When the cabin walls took shape, she added a roof made of thick branches and leaves for insulation. Inside, she arranged soft bedding made from dried grasses and animal furs collected during her exploration. As she stepped back to admire her handiwork, Clara felt a wave of pride wash over her. This cabin wasn't just a structure, it was a symbol of hope and resilience. It represented her fight against despair and the will to create a life filled with possibility. With Max by her side, they had built their sanctuary, a place where they could thrive together through whatever winter might bring. With her cabin taking shape, Clara realized that the next step in ensuring their survival was to establish a reliable food source. As she surveyed the cave's entrance, where sunlight barely filtered through the cracks, Clara felt inspired. She was determined to cultivate green leafy vegetables and potatoes, knowing they could provide vital nutrition during the long winter ahead. Clara began by clearing a small patch of earth directly outside the cave. Using her hands, she turned the soil, imagining how lush and bountiful it could become. "This will be our garden, Max," she said with a smile, envisioning rows of vibrant greens thriving in their little sanctuary. She took seeds she had saved from an old bag, lettuce, spinach, and potatoes, and diligently planted them in neat rows. As days passed, Clara spent hours caring for her fledgling garden. She watered the seeds with water from a nearby stream and protected them with stones to keep harrowing animals at bay. With Max always by her side, she felt encouraged by his watchful presence as he sniffed around for any signs of danger. Every morning, Clara inspected her plants with hopeful anticipation. Gradually, tiny green shoots began to poke through the ground, bringing her immense joy. "Look, Max! They're growing," she exclaimed, knowing that soon she would have fresh food to sustain them. Clara's resourcefulness continued to shine as she devised ways to extend their harvest. She learned how to store some of the potatoes in a cool corner within the cave, which would allow her to eat them throughout winter. The sight of her growing garden gave Clara renewed strength and purpose. It reinforced her belief that they could not only survive but truly thrive in this wild and beautiful land together. Each day in the cave became a routine that blended hard work and companionship. Clara woke with the first light of dawn, feeling the chill in the air as she stretched and prepared for the day ahead. Max would greet her with excited barks, his tail wagging eagerly. "Good morning, Max. Are you ready to help?" she asked with a smile, and he responded by nudging her hand with his nose. After a quick breakfast of simple porridge made from stored grains, Clara would head to her garden. With Max by her side, she tended to the crops with care. She would kneel down, gently pulling weeds from around the green leafy vegetables while Max sniffed around, keeping watch for any critters that might threaten their precious plants. "You're my good guard dog," she chuckled, scratching behind his ears as he settled beside her. Every afternoon, Clara watered the plants from a nearby stream, ensuring they stayed healthy and strong. She took pride in their steady growth, knowing that these vegetables would sustain them through winter. Meanwhile, Max would chase after leaves or bark at birds flitting above them, filling their time with playful moments amidst the hard work. In the evenings, after a long day of labor, Clara would prepare dinner using some freshly harvested greens alongside stored potatoes. As they sat by the fire inside their cabin, sharing warmth and comfort, Clara often spoke to Max about her hopes and dreams for their future. "One day we'll have a thriving garden and plenty of food," she promised him. Their bond deepened during these shared experiences. Each challenge faced strengthened their connection. Together, they embraced both the hardships and joys of life in the wilderness, a testament to Clara's unwavering spirit and Max's loyal companionship as they navigated this new world side by side. As winter deepened, the cave that once felt like a sanctuary began to close in on Clara. The long, dark nights brought with them a sense of isolation that was hard to shake. Each evening, as she sat by the fire with Max curled up beside her, Clara felt the weight of silence pressing down. The chill in the air whispered reminders of the world outside, a place she had left behind amid judgment and blame. Some nights, fear crept into her heart, making her wonder if they would have enough food to last through the harsh season. "What if the garden doesn't grow?" she would whisper into the shadows, her mind racing with uncertainties. But as she looked at Max's trusting eyes, she found strength in his unwavering loyalty. Despite these challenges, Clara's resilience grew day by day. She learned to push aside her fears and focus on what she could control, tending to their needs and ensuring they both stayed warm and nourished. Each time she harvested vegetables or added more logs to the fire, it was a small victory against the overwhelming feelings of doubt that threatened to envelop her. Clara also found solace in her newfound routines. In the early mornings, she took comfort in watching frost cover the ground, marveling at nature's beauty amidst hardship. She took pride in how far she had come since fleeing her village. Every day was a testament to her strength. Though loneliness lingered around her like an unwelcome guest, Clara discovered that with each challenge faced alongside Max, she fortified not only her spirit but also their bond. Together, they were conquering this wilderness, two souls learning to thrive against all odds despite the darkness surrounding them. One evening, as Clara prepared dinner by the fire, dark clouds rolled in overhead, casting an eerie shadow over the cave. The air grew still, and a hushed tension filled the atmosphere. Suddenly, the wind howled like a wild beast, rattling the entrance to her home. Clara's heart raced as she clutched Max close, feeling a sense of foreboding settle in. "What do you think is coming, boy?" she whispered, trying to reassure herself. Within moments, the storm erupted. Snowflakes fell like icy daggers, swirling violently around their cave as the wind screamed outside. Clara quickly shut the entrance and piled logs against it for extra protection. "Stay close, Max," she urged, her voice steady despite the chaos around them. As the snow piled up outside, Clara could hear the storm rage on, drowning out all other sounds. She felt a mixture of fear and determination rise within her. This was a test of her survival skills. She had prepared for this day even if she had hoped it would never come. Clara gathered supplies, extra blankets, dried food, and water, placing them near their makeshift bed inside the cabin. She reminded herself that they had weathered storms before and that they would overcome this one too. With Max beside her, she felt empowered, knowing they were not alone in this fight against nature. Hours passed as they huddled together in the dim light of the flickering fire. Outside, the blizzard continued to swirl furiously, but Clara kept her focus on keeping Max warm and safe. "We'll get through this," she assured him, stroking his fur gently. The storm may have tested her resolve, but Clara was determined to protect her home and her loyal companion through whatever challenges lay ahead. As winter gradually released its hold, Clara felt the first warmth of spring caressing her skin. The cave that had sheltered her through the darkest days now exuded a sense of renewal. Sunlight streamed through the cracks in the rock, illuminating her rustic home and bathing it in a golden glow. Clara stood at the entrance, taking in the vibrant colors that began to awaken outside. Daffodils and budding leaves danced in the gentle breeze. With renewed energy, Clara ventured into her garden, where she was greeted by rows of green leafy vegetables that had flourished under her care. The sight filled her heart with joy. They had survived the winter together, thriving against all odds. "Look at them, Max," she exclaimed, excitement bubbling in her voice as Max wagged his tail enthusiastically beside her. "We did it!" Clara began harvesting fresh greens and even spotted early flowers blooming amid the vegetables. She gathered what she could carry back to their cozy cabin, envisioning meals that would bring warmth and comfort after months of rationing and uncertainty. Each step she took felt lighter, as if shedding the weight of isolation and fear that had clung to her during the long season. As they settled down for dinner that evening, surrounded by the sights and sounds of spring, Clara reflected on her journey. She had transformed from a woman fleeing judgment into a resilient survivor who had built a life brimming with hope. With Max curled up at her feet, Clara felt an unshakable bond with both the land and her loyal companion. Spring was not just a season, it was a triumphant reminder that life continued to flourish even after adversity. Together, they were ready to embrace whatever challenges lay ahead, knowing that they had not only survived but truly thrived in their new life within the cave.